Oh, Sergio Perez.
Also,
it's Sergio Perez, and he's in the gravel, and he is beached, and it's a red flag. So Valtteri Bottas will abort that lap, and you're right, Martin. Sergio Perez is out of qualifying.
And welcome to the Hot Lap. We are talking Sergio Perez. What have Red Bull done? They've signed this guy for 2 more years. We know he has been a good driver in the past. Can he be again? Absolutely. Sir Lewis Hamilton has shown us that. But what is going on with Red Bull and Sergio Perez, and what should be happening, and what's going to happen in the future? This is young Mr. Perez spinning out of the race in Canada. There we go. Whoops-a-daisy. I mean, if you're a Red Bull, what have you got to do? There are rumours now that we've got Daniel Ricciardo maybe going to Red Bull. Liam Lawson appears to be testing an RB20 at the weekend. Could he be going to Red Bull? Could he be replacing Daniel Ricciardo? Could Daniel Ricciardo be going to Red Bull? Rumours about Sergio Perez has only until the summer break. So essentially the Hungarian Grand Prix and the Belgian Grand Prix. Well, let's get into it. So Red Bull have said that Perez, his current form is what they've described, it's quite significant, I think, as unsustainable, with F1 contract clause set to kick in. Unsustainable. So his future then is kind of like increasingly in doubt. Red Bull thinks it's unsustainable if Perez continues performing as he is. Absolutely, don't state the obvious. But with the Mexican now at risk of what people are saying is a performance-related clause getting activated in his Formula 1 contract. What does this all mean, Prater? Well, Perez has been under pressure over recent weeks to lift his game and deliver more for Red Bull. And the Milton Keynes outfit is not, they're looking strong in the Constructors and Drivers' Championship at the moment, but people are closing on the Constructors because Perez cannot score big points. And also with McLaren and Mercedes getting those big gains in the Constructors, Red Bull is well aware that its healthy lead right now could be wiped out in the second half of the season if it does not have both of its cars delivering good points, not just points, good points. So another non-score for Sergio for the British Grand Prix meant he has just brought home 15. That's 15 points in the last 6 races. That's since the Miami Grand Prix, Lando Norris's first win, which was epic, but it feels a long time ago. Teammate Verstappen in having contributed 119 in the same period. Now, the team remains hopeful that Perez can rediscover his form. He was good at the beginning of the year, and this form that saw him deliver regular podium finishes. But the situation in the Constructors' Championship and the risks of it getting overhauled if things do not change. People have initially suggested that Red Bull don't care about the Constructors, they just care about Max winning the drivers. They do care about the Constructors. It means money. It means praise. It's the team's championship. Now, as matters are now close, what people are describing to a critical point, that's understood that despite Perez having a contract in place for next year, he could still be dropped, potentially as early, as we mentioned, as the summer break. And sources have suggested that Red Bull, they've got the right to terminate Perez's contract if he falls more than 100 points behind Verstappen. Another rumour is if he falls below 5th place by the summer break. Neither have been 110% confirmed. But right now, after another non-score, you want to know what that total is behind Verstappen? Well, it's not 100 points, it's 137. So for that to actually be perfect, he's going to significantly have to outscore that Max Verstappen in the next 2 races, which seem unlikely unless maybe Max Verstappen goes out. But so he's just got 2 races to get within that 100 points range. And if he's not, it apparently exposes that risk for Red Bull electing to look for another driver. Now, asked about the British Grand Prix, about Perez's continuing failure to contribute to Red Bull's Constructors' Championship, Red Bull team boss Christian Horner said he knows it's unsustainable to not be scoring points. And he said we have to be scoring points in that car, and he knows that. He knows his role and his target, so nobody is more eager than Checo to find his form again. And he said one of the headaches that Red Bull has with regards to its fate of its second car is that there's no obvious option. As we know, we've got Daniel Ricciardo in the wings, but there's still question marks over how good he is. Yuki Tsunoda, the team doesn't feel it. Otherwise, they would have signed him up for Red Bull. I don't know why. Many people don't know why. Do they have a reason? Yes. Are they telling us? Don't know. The other possibility that could emerge, as people are suggesting, is Liam Lawson, who's scheduled to conduct a filming day in a 2024 at Silverstone later this week. So the New Zealander, he showed, as you know, during his standing performance for Ricciardo, that he is up to the job. But Horner's played down the significance of Lawson's run, saying it is a long-planned aero test, but it's obvious that the Red Bull management, let's be fair, they're going to be looking closely at that, aren't they? He said the Liam aero run has been planned for a couple of months now, and for Checo, of course, he's under pressure. That's normal in Formula 1. And when you're under-delivering, that pressure only mounts. He's aware of that, and he knows that this weekend has... No, he knows that, and this weekend nothing has gone his way. Partly for Red Bull's bad strategy call with Perez, awesome strategy, as I said, with Verstappen. But Lawson's run of the RB20 is the only test he has scheduled for the month, with RB having announced weeks ago that he will also get another one in its 2022 car. So it's not the only test, sorry, and it's understood to be scheduled for the final week of July at Imola. Wow, I mean, it's not going to be... I mean, the race... Everyone's got an article on poor Perez at the moment. I mean, even the race has an article saying, you know, the fact that Perez is defiance in the wake of what is fresh speculation about his Red Bull future is admirable, but does not match reality. Perez spin at the gravel in Q1 consigned him to an early exit and what ultimately was 19th place to start the British Grand Prix. And having changed to slicks on the drying track, Perez corrected a wobble on the entry to Copse on his outlap and went off, basically. He said, I put my hand up, I effed up today. Tomorrow is a new day. It is, and tomorrow wasn't particularly great either, although I don't think we can blame Perez 110% for that. But the error which leaves Perez with one top 10 start in the last 6 Grand Prix. Yeah, you heard that right. One top 10 start in the last 6 Grand Prix. That is not an isolated incident. It comes at the prospect of him losing his Red Bull seat. It's a real... I mean, people are saying it's a real possibility. We know this downturn of form. It's just not good at all. You know, and he's got Max Verstappen as a teammate, which can't be great. But Perez insisted, though, that the rumours had nothing to do with his qualifying error and that he is fully focused on the job, and argued that his practice pace on Friday was more representative. Yeah, but that's Friday. You need to do it in qualifying in the race. There's the thing. But he did say we're making good progress. We're just about to unlock a couple of tenths from our side, and our life will be very different. Back to where we start at the start of the year. When you say just about, what does he mean by just about? And that's going to be the issue. And it's going to make an interesting decision for Red Bull in the coming weeks if Sergio Perez's form does not go well. And many have suggested it's not going to go well. If I just share this with this was, I think, Perez on Twitter. Can I zoom in? Don't think I can. He said, we tried everything. We took risks with the strategy and it didn't work. Time to turn the page and prepare for the next couple of races. Our time will come. We never give up. And the fastest pit stop have put here that, I imagine you can probably see it. There we go. That, what have they put here? They've put basically Nico Hülkenberg has scored more points in the last 2 races than Sergio Perez in the last 6. In the last 6. That is how significant this issue is. What's going to be interesting is who is it going to replace Perez if... We know Red Bull has done this with drivers in the past. If you remember Gasly and Albon swap, with Albon going to Red Bull, and he lasted about 1.5 years there. Looked average and now looks very, very good in the Williams. The Red Bull have had trouble with that number 2 car ever since Danny Ricciardo, I think in 2018, decided to leave the team. And nothing's really been the same. But then you have to wonder, why did Red Bull sign Sergio Perez? Was it to keep their number 1 driver, Max Verstappen, happy? Very likely. Possibly, yeah. But I understand that. You can make an argument that Max has deserved a say, potentially, in the second seat. I guess he doesn't get ultimate say, but I'd like to think that at least listen to his opinion, because he is very much the number 1 driver in that team, the number 1 driver in Formula 1 in terms of championships at the moment, and consistently winning. So what is going to happen to Perez? I guess stay tuned, because I don't think anybody knows. But he's not gone yet, but he's tinkering on the edge of a cliff. And I think what he decides to do is very much up the Sergio Perez. Like I said about Daniel Ricciardo early in the year, it's whether he sinks or swims is going to be up to Sergio Perez. We know he can do it, But will he? And that's going to be the issue. So if you made it to the end, give us a like, give us a subscribe. That'll be absolutely brilliant. If you do one, you're a world champion. If you do both, you are a multiple world champion in our eyes. Stay tuned for more F1 news, and we'll speak to you soon.